Are you there, Ron?
Yeah, hi.
How's it
I am
going?
here. Hello, Mark Parker. What's the temperature there, dude?
What is it? 68.
68.
Cloudy. And then we got it rain coming.
We had today, this is with the wind chill, so it's cheating. It felt like negative 1.7.
That's cold.
I had to fill up the tires on my car
Yeah.
because they were flatness.
Goodness. Goodness.
So what would be negative? What's okay, listen. What is 0 in
Negative
Celsius?
1C in the UK. That's not as cold as negative 1 Fahrenheit, but it's cold. That's still below freezing.
Fahrenheit. It's negative 17 for those doing Celsius.
Okay. Yeah, that's cold. That's
I wasn't
cold.
thrilled.
No.
So I covet. So I'll trade. I'll trade you your traffic jams, but not the crazy. Oh wait, what's going on with
I'm trying to figure out what I
yeah.
can't in the comment.
Um,
Oh, you know what? I can go over to. I might be able to copy figure out what the link is.
yeah.
There it is. Okay.
Um,
Um, Pacific Northwest goose. Why is it coming out so weird? All right, let me share the screen.
all right.
Let's hide Grim Grizz's thing. My wife deep cleaned part of the house today, and there's a whole bunch of dust in the air, so
Mm.
I am fighting off. I'm about ready to pull out the EpiPen.
Well, where is it at? Is it in your sinuses or all over your
Just
body?
it's. I'll go into sneezing fits. I took another Allegra. I'll be fine. But if you see me doing this a lot, you know it's because I'm trying not to sneeze in
Yeah,
public here.
dude, let's kick this show off, right? Lord, in the name of Jesus, for Mark Parker, sinuses be made whole, open up. Um, Let it inflammation, irritation leave. In Jesus' name, amen.
And stop the histamine.
And yeah, well, actually, yeah, I do,
Stop
yeah, stop the histamine.
the
Yeah,
reaction or whatever it
yeah,
is. Oh, yes,
in
please.
Jesus'
Thank you,
name.
Lord. All right. Anyways, he's pushing Pacific Northwest goose.
What's that?
Why does that render so darkly?
I don't know. Can you?
I can't brighten it up. It's like that's the color of the web page.
Can you? I don't know.
Let me see. Um, that's the image. That's pretty cool. I like that. Can you see that? Did it blow up for
Yeah,
you? Can you
yeah,
see it?
it's nice. Grim says
Um,
this shirt has been prayed for.
Very
That's something.
nice.
Is that Denim Denny?
Is that his
And
name?
I think so. And then
The
it's the
character?
Zodiac. And
It's isn't that a oh it is a zodiac. I was thinking
yeah,
it's
a
a
compass.
compass.
Yeah, well, it's like I think that reminds me of all the
I'm
houses of
so
the Zodiac.
confused by the fucking corner. What's that the zodiac? I'm sorry. I'm so confused.
It's lobster
We're like
monkeys.
1 minute we're Christian fundamentalists, the next minute we're talking about the
No,
zodiac.
listen,
It's
no, this no,
astrology for Jesus.
it's Grim Grizz. Okay, we're once
Well,
you
if it's not
say,
just Grimm, there's Michael Martin. He did his whole. We never talked about
oh,
Michael Martin's Zodiac for Jesus episode.
let me drop a tab and we'll talk.
I'm teasing. I'm
No,
being.
no, no,
I'm.
I can
My
handle it.
sinuses are bothering. I'm having an allergy attack,
Well,
and
I
as we
see.
speak,
Then
so I'm cranky.
put your hands on your.
Crikey, crikey.
Parker, put your hands on your sinuses like this. I mean it.
All right, we've already done it.
I
How
don't
much?
care. Lord, in the name of Jesus, for Mark Parker, sinuses open up, histamine reactions stop. We thank you for this healing and this peace. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And an
I
extra dose of patience.
Yeah. No worries. Tribulations makes patience, Brother Parker.
Tribulation.
Mm.
Four horsemen. Not all Christian fundamentalists, Af says.
What are you?
LOL. Does that mean he's really winking? We really are. Why is my screen doing that? That is just funny. That's funny. Wink. We're not really fundamentalists.
What? You forgot to ask for forgiveness? I don't need to ask for forgiveness from nobody. I am perfect in the Lord's eyes.
I think he wanted me to ask for forgiveness.
For what?
Probably talking to me.
Mark, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Oh, okay. We got a name. That's Lobster Monkey Goose.
Lobster Monkey Goose.
Another question I have for Grim Grizz is, why does he sometimes have a New Jersey accent?
Mm.
Well, it kind of fluctuates between New Jersey and Boston. So lobster, that's kind of Boston. Yeah. But he lives in like Oklahoma. And he's going to Boise.
What's in Boise? It's a comedy thing?
It's in Idaho. That I know.
Oh, so well.
Maybe that's where his new compound is.
I know he had some cool things going on.
So, yes, he's hooked him up with some Doug Wilson. He's crossed over to the dark side. I have zero control over what voices come through.
We need some holy water. We need to just work on this now.
The power of Christ compels
because,
you.
I'd like to get a squirt gun full, like a super soaker full of holy water, and just like, I don't know, just hit some people, see what happens.
Douse the whole place?
Just see what yeah. Just see what starts
that's funny. Okay, anyways, get your Lobster Monkey Goose.
Yeah.
Pacific North Estuary shirt. Did we at the link?
I need the hat. I like the hat because I seen Claire. Claire has one. I seen Paul. It's a nice hat.
Air Force Brad Aft says. And Neil Dalis is coming armed and dangerous with a green phaser. Oh, is that the holy water squirt gun?
Oh, I think so.
I think that's the holy water squirt gun. He has some Russian accents too. Neil's packing. This is funny. This is good. I needed to laugh.
We can do this. We are.
Am I too loud? Am I too soft?
No, actually, you sound pretty clear.
Okay.
Primary colors right now.
So how have you been?
Not bad. I bought a house. I think I've told you. I don't know.
Yes. How's the house holding up in this cold weather?
It's doing well. We just got a new heating system put in earlier in the year. And so it's brand new. I need to change the filter, but I've already lived there for almost 2 years. And my buddy Joe, who we did the interview with, he bought it. And then God told him, it was a while ago, to walk across the United States and pray for the United States. He did that. And while he was gone, I stayed there.
Joe's a good man.
Yeah. So he just proposed to his girlfriend, who is now his fiance. She said yes. And so
she stole his heart from the Catholic seminary.
Pretty much. Actually, no, he bounced from the seminary first. He's like, we like girls.
He decided he didn't have it in him.
I was like, no, I have another calling. So
that's good. Nobody should be in that unless they're ready for it.
Right. And he met a nice girl, and they're like, hey, we should do the Catholic marriage thing. And they're like,
I like love. Love is good.
And then it's a good match too. That's a great pick, dude.
We are ready for 2026. The postmodern dystopia. We are ready to go. You and I.
I like it. I think, but you're taller than me.
Get
You're
your
6.
Ray-Bans out. Well, I can't help. That's the
I know,
AI
but it
thought
looks
you were
good.
bigger than me. It's just I think it was the pictures I chose to inspire it, and so it decided
It looks good.
you were pretty. It got a good. That's really close to the picture that you gave me.
Hmm.
This is the picture. This is based on the picture that has your wraparound sunglasses
Hmm.
up on your hat,
Hmm.
and you're smiling. It's a good picture. I can
I'm
pull it up for me.
impressed. It's
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's a hoot.
I'm standing. You know Jeff is a tall dude. When I met him in Chicago, he's like 6'4" or 5".
Thank you, Al.
He's not a short fella.
Oh, 2026, by the way. What are your plans for 2026? Other than maybe what? You're going to freshen up paint?
Mhm.
Are you going to do
Yeah,
housework? You're going to be the quintessential homeowner?
yeah. We're
Or
gonna.
you got other ideas? Start
No,
a
I think I'd like to invite people over. What I'm finding out from here and just in general is like getting to know people, really living life with them, and uh, some prayer meetings, pizza, being a schlep, watching movies, having fun, just being a goofball. Um, I s- the Catholic community here does that really well, and I get to hang out with them some. And in my church, it's smaller, but I'm getting to know some people really well, and that's my plans.
Your
Maybe
church you're at now, though, you've been there for a long time, right? Or not?
25 years on, more like a few
But
years
they
here and
know
there.
you, right? I mean,
20,
everybody kind of knows who you are, or do you
yeah.
kind of lay low?
No, actually, it's I'm upfront. It's I everyone knows me. Like they might not know me by name, but they know I'm here in the past or free Willy and jump on. Everyone else.
Everyone's got plans for your life, Ron. Will
You know,
Ron
here's the
find love
thing.
in 26?
I tend to love more, even if it kills me. I've decided, love. You're going to die anyhow, right? We're gonna die. I mean, Jesus might
I
come
don't think
back.
he meant it that way.
What does he mean?
Like a
What's that?
like
Bob
a
Marley?
Mrs. Ron.
Oh, okay. Listen, everyone, stretch your hand towards me and pray, Lord,
There we
in
go,
the
Ron.
name of Jesus. Yeah. Wait,
All
listen.
right.
Up,
Hey,
up,
I've
and
been thinking we
yeah.
need a dating show.
The
Bachelor, what was the old match game? What
dating
was
game.
that? What was
The
that one
dating
with
game.
the one girl and three guys behind a curtain or whatever it was, and she would bachelor
Let's
number
make a
one and
deal.
what?
Let's make a deal.
No, it was a
Uh,
'60s thing. It was
I
like
think.
it was huge on TV. It was '60s and '70s. It was like Blind Date. It was probably like something. No, it wasn't.
The
It
date.
wasn't like these trashy things they do now, where they
No,
put
no.
them on an
Yeah.
island and
All right.
stuff.
Somebody look it up. I thought it was the dating game.
The dating game. That's it. That's right. Is that what you said? I must
Yeah,
have heard. Oh, I heard wrong. I heard something else. The
that's all right.
dating game. Yes, that's right. The guy had the long, skinny microphone. That was always funny
Mm.
too. And uh, we need something like that. And because we have disproportionate females to males around the corner, it'd have to be the female is in the choosing chair,
Yeah.
and the males have to woo her for a date. We would probably need a lawyer to write up all kinds of contracts to keep ourselves from being sued. But
You
it
know
would be a
what?
lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun if
As
we
long
could.
as they're over 18, give them like
Now
Venmo
that
them.
you're a homeowner, you have assets to protect, my friend.
I want to protect my asset.
That's it. Protect your assets. But I think we need a proper dating game.
Yeah.
Can we auction Chris? We're not auctioning people.
There's no
This is
slavery.
not Doug Wilson country. We do not auction human beings. Doesn't happen here. On my channel, the abolitionists did not start the war. The good guys are on this side.
For sure.
You're
Okay,
already
so
getting bids, Grim. You're already
okay, so
getting bids.
opening bids for Grim Grizz at this point
$5.
is $5. That's
We already, well, what kind of, yeah, woo. We are wooing in a whole different kind of woo. We are
woo.
suggesting a new level of woo.
Do you remember Alfalfa and what was her name? Dorothy or was it Darla in Little Rascals?
Yeah.
Okay, that they wooed. That was the day of woo.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Smith story. You know what? You got that right. I wasn't ready for marriage 25 years ago. I was a hot mess. All I had in my car, all I had was my car, my clothing, and long hair. After that, I had no skill set whatsoever. I was a hot mess.
Well, maybe a good girl would have set you straight.
Well, you know, honestly, I think I've seen that though. What I've seen with
I've seen it go
women.
both ways.
What?
Unfortunately.
What? I didn't hear you.
I've seen it go both ways. I've seen, sometimes the woman sets the man straight. Sometimes they just crash and burn together. And
well, what I see,
or she puts up with it for only so long, and she walks,
right,
or vice versa.
Well, I've seen like
be fair.
When a woman has a child, a lady.
Yes.
Actually, that happened to my sister. Boy, she went from party girl to she was married to an alcoholic, and I think it was the 12th DUI. She's like, no, we're good. All right.
Yeah.
And boy, she went from she graduated high school. That was it. She went from the lowest tier in the insurance business. I won't mention the company, to where she gets flown around the country now doing seminars. And she said, it was at a family gathering, she makes more than some of the doctors she talks with. And I'm like, she's a machine.
Cool.
So, and then what have I seen? I saw one dude, he was a drug dealer. And Jeff, not Jeff. Jeff wasn't a drug
Jeff
dealer.
P. Yep.
Yes.
I'm trying. This has been, oh my goodness, this audio. It's finally together, but it's taken so much work. The recording was much worse than I thought, and it didn't process well through Adobe. So it's been through multiple takes and reworks, but I think I finally got it at a listenable level, and it's going to be a really good on-ramp radio. It's going to this is the second to last one coming up. I should release it next, God willing, the next day or so.
Jeff's a machine.
And Jeff is awesome.
Yeah.
Jeff is one of my favorite human beings. And he's very cool. He's fun to talk to. But it's a really good, it's a good on-ramp. But it'll be the second to the last, and I'd probably be the last forever, because they're just exhausting. And
you do a good job.
The problem is we're not doing this, like if we had proper audio set up, both sides would have the same equipment, and it'd be, you'd have good audio and a good internet connecting, and it's always some complicated thing. And and then we made the mistake of playing some digital music in the recording.
Yeah.
And that completely freaked out Adobe, which usually process the audio for me, which makes it a lot easier.
All right.
And so what it ended up doing is it messed up the machine couldn't handle it.
Was it the whole segment you had music?
Or just one small section, but it blew out the whole recording. So like 2 hours of recording, it made it impossible to run it through. So I basically had to cut out the music, right? Cut it out of the recording.
Yes. Yeah.
Plus I had to cut out sections to get it under. We went over 2 hours. So I had to cut out the parts that I didn't, that were unnecessary, or at least less necessary to the recording. Then, so then take that raw
Mm-hmm.
edited piece and then send it through the machine again and try to balance it out.
Yeah.
And it still comes out a little harsh, but it's okay. It's just not like for some reason the recording with Claire Cog came out very warm sounding.
That was a good
This
one.
one came out not so warm. So I may still take this recording and then run it through an old school like GarageBand or something and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of boost some bass and bring down some of those harsher tones just to
Yeah.
kind of because in these audio programs it's all ear. You have no
Mm-hmm.
visual to distract you, so it's got to be really good,
Mm-hmm.
or you're just not going to listen to it, especially if it hurts your ears. And if it hurts my ears, I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
live stream on the other hand, it's anything goes because you get what you get on a live stream.
But you sound good.
Good. But it's a great discussion. I really enjoyed Jeff. Jeff is awesome.
And we have Michael Satori.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Well, it's the final chapter of my book came out on YouTube this morning, so you can listen to the whole thing. That's been a year since it came out in writing,
Oh,
and so I had one person invite me onto their YouTube channel to talk about it.
I
That team.
Are you
I
on?
would-
Is it on Sartori Studios?
get him.
Yes. There is a I can probably just put the link or whatever for the playlist. There's a playlist with all the chapters.
Put it in the private chat, and I'll copy it and paste it into
Okay.
a window, and we can open it up.
Yep. And in that last chapter, I put the link for people to download the PDF too, so you can get it that way. And then I made a whole bunch of little AI videos summarizing it. So Ron was watching some of those. I thought it was the first time I saw them. I just was making them, and I was just watching them live with
Mhm.
Ron and whoever else, and I thought I did a pretty good job. They give like 2 minutes for each chapter,
Mhm.
so you kind of get a whole feel of the whole book in about 2 hours. So that was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was cool.
and after reading it out loud, I think it's a pretty good book overall. I mean, there's definitely stuff I would change, but that's why it's a rough draft, and I think that maybe there's some value in that. You see, like, what would you do? What would you do differently and stuff? So because editing is always removing authenticity from things. So.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, in the sense of it being a rough draft, and you're going to edit it for being more concise or whatever, like you're scraping away the tool marks. So like, I mean, this is even what I talk about in the preface. Doing woodworking. It used to be that like the pinnacle was that you just make things that are completely square and straight and smooth, but that's become so ubiquitous as like it just looks like something that came from IKEA or some other thing that people can't even tell, like if it's made, like the high-end stuff, if it's made by hand, it just looks like it's made by a machine, so people don't see it the right way. But if you leave some of the tool marks and the roughness and some evidence that a human being touched it, even though it's not as refined, it's actually more instructive and that so then when somebody comes upon the artifact, they can look at it and be like, oh, I see what happened here. I see how they made these marks and they cut these things, and you can figure out how something's put together. But like,
well, it is funny that in the age when you can, because you go to the 18th century furniture making or something, it was super refined.
yeah,
and to the point of just delicate
Hmm.
in some styles. But then now rustic is, because we can do things, machines can do things perfectly. People want rustic, which is, strikes me as rustic in this era is a form of inauthenticity. Wouldn't you say? Because we're imposing we're adding tool marks where we really don't need them.
Well, I don't, but yes, if you're making a mockery of it, then yes, I suppose so.
But I
I
understand
mean,
what you're saying too.
yeah. Well, I mean that then it comes down to like, well, I would say the thing is anything that's made out of real wood, at least, that was formed by nature, it was submitted to the will of God and the weather and all that stuff. And so there's something that's always like, uh, it yeah, but you can get, but there is a lot of things manufactured even out of like it's particle board, and then they put a veneer over it to make it look like real wood. But yeah, sometimes they make it look like real wood that has inauthentic tool marks. And so yes, that's not
Yeah.
yeah, that's not the ideal. But
It's
I
what you
mean,
find in restaurants sometimes and stuff. The Or it gets even worse. There's some like musical instruments, you buy really cheap guitars on Amazon or something, and they look gorgeous. And that wood grain is amazing. And only it turns out it's a photograph
yeah,
and on a film that's then layered over the wood and then coated with some epoxy or something. It's they've mastered the art of faking. It's to a point where professionals sometimes have to take, professional luthiers, they generally can tell, but even sometimes they just have to they have to get in
yeah,
there and see the actual, what is it, cross section of the panel,
yep.
and it's, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I don't
interesting
mind.
times.
I like cheap manufactured things too. But I think,
Hmm.
yeah, making it try to look fancy, but it's fake is not the way. Like
Right,
they should just show us the plywood. Like
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with plywood. It's an amazing product.
right, right. Let's listen to a bit. Is that all right?
Sure, if this is the acknowledgments, I'm
Which
sure.
ones
Yeah,
do
you'll
you
get your
want? Which
names in
part?
there.
Which chapter? What's your favorite
Oh,
chapter? Should
oh
pick one. We'll play 3 minutes.
no, just play the acknowledgments, because then you will show all of the people, can hear their voice, all the people that I've named who probably didn't even know they were in there, and then they can feel bad about how little attention the book got so far. Presents the audio recording of Tents Before Temples, Rough Drafts on Building a Culture That Lasts by M.L. Thomas Sartori. For Joanna, Luciana, and Elizabeth, to bless and equip your future husbands. Acknowledgements. Paul Vanderclay, whose rambling, unedited videos prove that there is an audience for exploring rabbit trails. Gavin Palmer, who put skin in the game to help me get this book written and has continued to encourage my efforts. He gave me
Chad
money,
the
that's
girl
why.
dad, formerly Chad the alcoholic, for giving me his number and taking my calls. General Gaius Griswold Grimm, his shadow cabal, and the Reapers at the Broken Clock Tower Discord, who helped me bridge the gap from Alex Jones in InfoWars to being virtually not alone in TLC. Jacob Federecci, David Busatil, Sandy, Cassandra, Yosef, Yoav, Chezi, Jason Almondtree, the rest of the Thursday Bible Study Group, Jacob's Ladder, and Fountain of Comfort. The Anadromist, Burn Power, for continuing and expanding the work of Francis Schaeffer and making it relevant to the next generation. Luke Thompson and Nate Heil, virtual acquaintances who became real-life friends through the breaking of bread, along with Michael Martin, Jess Purviance, Sherry, and the rest of the Grail Country crew. Mark D. Parker, Cale Zeldin, Rod Hare, Neil Daedalus, Jeff P., Nancy, Sherry, Donnie, Daniel, Jason, and Susanna, the group from Quinbrook Farms. Karen Wong, C.W. Weeks, Bryce Carlisle, Gabriel Stuckey, Matthew Parlato, Sam Tiedemann, Christian Golden, Christian Baxter, Teo, Lance, Jeremy, T-Grog, McMo, President Foxman, Alan, Alex, and all the rest of those willing to come out of the lurk. Job, who introduced Christopher Alexander to the coroner. All my old friends, Josh Pilling, Carl Hellstrom, Jason McCutcheon, Phil and Sherry, Papa and Nana Matson, and everyone else at BCC. The RI gang, Bill and Nicole, Brian, Chris, Zach Lenz, Aaron Powers, Jason Hartman, Taka Iguchi, Aaron Campbell, men I respect who set good examples. The Monday Night Men's Group and the Compass Crew, Brian, Hebel, Mark, Jose, Aaron, Dan, Austin, Alex, Roderick, and all the rest. Guy Landau and Mike Usray for rekindling my enthusiasm for wrestling. My family, Mom and Dad, Peter and Carolyn, Emily and Patrick, Mark and Lori, Josh and Emily. And most of all, my wonderful wife, Mandy, who graciously put up with my obsessive need to spend so much time writing, and our 3 beautiful daughters. God provided the perfect gift to inspire a mission to help young men become worthy of their love and devotion.
All right.
This is a draft of a book.
So do you
First draft.
keep the text up while you're reading?
For most of it, yeah, for most of it. And there was a couple where some other people did record a chapter, and some of them, if I took the time to I'd put images, to go along with what was happening and stuff. But I mean, the quality is not exactly the same all the way through, but yeah, the text is there for the most part, and you can download it so you can read along that way if you want.
Cool. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Well, it was good to have something to do. So
The T-Grog mention cracks me up. Makes me want to play the T-Grog song.
I didn't know there was a song.
Oh, there's a song. Luke suggested the style many months ago.
T-Grog steps through the haze of steel and gears. Once anointed, now he mocks what he once feared. Pentecostal flames turn to embers in his chest. Skeptics crown upon his head. No time for rest.
That was one of my favorites. It cracked me up. But anyway, I don't want to freak everybody out with too much AI music. But there is a T-Grog song out there. I need to make an album and put it on YouTube.
Oh my
People
gosh.
just listen through it.
Yes, it's a TLC Christmas album.
Well, we could do that too. But that's going to be next Christmas. I haven't heard much from T-Grog lately. He flirted with me on X to come on over and talk, but he never did.
Yeah, I think I muted him on X, so I didn't.
Oh, he's a hoot. You just glance over it, just like it is what it is.
Well,
I mean,
I just
don't know what was he gets. Did he call you out? That's kind of annoying when people just call
well,
you out. for no reason.
would only after a while. There was just 2 memes that I would respond to everything with the same 2 memes that he and then he would say that I wasn't being a Christian, and then I'd give him the meme that corresponded to that, and then he would say some other thing, and then I would give him the other meme, and so I think he got tired of it because
I don't have it in me to do that stuff anymore. Most of what
Well,
I do
I
on
would engage
Twitter
with
is
him,
just
but he
clip.
he,
Yeah.
he just would not pretend
engage a little bit.
like he didn't understand the arguments that I was making, and he would just
Right.
repeat his same point. So it's like, well,
Right.
and then my
If
wife would be
Tyo
like, "What
wants
are you
an
doing on your phone?" And I'm like, arguing with people on the internet.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so that's why
Arguing with
I
people
had
on
to
the internet.
that's why I had to switch to the memes, because at least that way it was just
Quick in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If Tyo is willing to talk to me, what I want to do is probably do more of my interviews will just go live stream instead of recorded in advance. Like I did, the one that I did with Matt C came out really nice, and that was live. And I may
you
just
post
do
that?
that. Yeah, it's up.
Oh wow, okay, I gotta look back.
It's
on
a good
that.
one. It's really good, Matt. That was a great interview, great discussion. So what's okay? Bring the woo, guy. Bring the woo, guys.
So
I don't have anything
my-
today.
Mike, are you offended at Michael? Like, my name is Ron. My mom calls me Ronnie. I'm 9 years old. I'm like, I'm not Ronnie, Mom.
I don't like
Uh,
Mikey, but Mike
uh,
or Michael is fine. But I don't
But
like Mikey.
What do you go by? Like, what are the like?
I don't know. I was always Mike, but then I was like, well, maybe I should be like professional and just say
Oh,
Michael or whatever.
Lord.
Like, so I mean, like, when I go to a job interview, I think I said
Oh no,
Michael. And
yeah,
I don't mind either way. It's fine.
Well, on your book, you don't want to put Mikey Sartori.
Yeah.
I mean, how long? Like, when did this stuff start brewing in your head? I'm like, dude,
Well,
800 pages.
So okay, I was writing stuff. I was writing stuff before I got into the corner. Trying to figure stuff out, like just Bible study and writing things, and then I started doing videos instead. But I always was like, I would try to do the thing of like being on off the cuff, and I think I figured this. I really messed things up. That's what I figured out. Like, writing a book was a dumb idea, because it's it was the thing that I like to do for myself, because I want to know what I think about something, and I figure it out much better through writing. But to make really good videos, you either have to have a half formulated idea that you can throw off the cuff, which I would do, but I wouldn't do it with anything that was like really important. I would do it with something that was mildly interesting, because if it was really important, then I would want to really figure it out. So I would write, or you have to go, with your ignorance, which is really hard for me. That's why I like to write things, because I've always felt embarrassed if I was caught not knowing something, or exposing my ignorance. But really,
at what age did you start writing?
I don't know. I mean, I wrote off and on all through. Like, I always liked it when it was like an assignment in school, and I was homeschooled, so there was some parts there. Like, I remember I was writing like some stories for. There was like a little homeschool newspaper that we put out, so that was pretty creative, and then probably in college it got more serious. And I actually had a whole bunch of stuff that I had just been writing on various ideas encountered in the corner, and then something happened with my like Google Docs drive, and that all got deleted. And so then I was much more meticulous about like backing things up in multiple places, and so like when it came to starting writing the book and stuff, which I wasn't planning to write a book. I had the idea for kind of the trade school, the discipleship program, and I just started about that a little bit, but then I just wanted to like flesh out more things to make sure it all stood up. And then I kind of thought of like, oh, well, I'll write on all these different topics, because the idea was that it would be like, this could be a rough draft for like a curriculum, so it's supposed to be, covers a lot of topics, because it's like you should take like a year to go through it. So yeah.
All right. Because like I grew up in west of Cleveland, Ohio, and during my lifetime I saw Ford, Chrysler, GM, United States Steel, and the shipyard shut down. Like
Mm.
they got wiped out. They were like they were gone. And then when I came to Muncie, I saw the same thing again. And now years have passed, and I'm seeing, I don't know, I'm just seeing poverty. Like there's a dropping between classes
Mm.
financially. And then I got buddies who are going to become linemen for the power company. They're starting at 80K.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? And I got a buddy who's a plumber. Dude, he's making crazy money. And I'm not. And then I have one of my buddy's brothers started off as a mechanic 20 years ago,
Oh,
maybe a little longer. He's a millionaire now.
oh,
So
wow.
I see the trades as being the next new wave of old skill that's going to just make bank.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I, I don't know. I'm not certain if it will always. I don't know what would happen, in the future with like the economy and stuff like that. But my thought of it was like, if you have the government collapse or whatever, and then nobody's going to care if you just start building a house. So if you know how to build a house, then you can have a house. But if you don't know how to build a house, you're going to be out of luck. So, so it's a more of a survival.
Well, but I think I think that scenario is extreme. That scenario where it's at that level is of collapse. I would put it a one out of a million.
I agree.
But if knowing how to build a house, I would say, without modern tools or access to well-stocked supply chains, there's building a house in the modern era, then there's building, say, a frontier type log cabin.
Oh yeah, well, if you want to see, go the chapter on vacation. You can see where I built a yurt, and I could do no, I kind of like.
I think when people think of building a house, you're not in the dystopic future, that 1 in a million chance dystopic future, you're not going to build a house as you understand it to be a house. It'll be a hut. If you're lucky.
well, and my kind of concluding thought of the whole thing was, maybe if people try to like prepare for the worst. And the best and what I say is the best investment of time and energy and resources and all that is not into any kind of things, physical or digital, but into people. And then if you do that, then that might be the best way to prevent a real disaster from happening. So that's kind of a concluding statement. But as you can see, all my family's home now, so I'm going to jump off.
Yep. All right. Well, enjoy your family.
All right.
Are you off until the beginning of the year? Are you back?
I have to work tomorrow morning, but and then I get Thursday off. So
okay. Well,
all right. Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
Bye.
Yes, and tomorrow is my daughter's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Oh, very good. A New Year's Eve baby.
Oh,
tomorrow's my anniversary.
Oh,
wedding anniversary. 35 years.
Oh.
So she picked a good year to be born.
Yep.
Or a good date, I should say. Good date.
Yes, we got the tax credit. All right. See ya.
Have a good night.
All right. So I have. That's awesome. I would like. So Mark, you do quality work, and I mean this as a compliment. You do NPR quality work. When I listen to NPR, the production value of their radio shows is amazing, because I see it as a storytelling, layers of storytelling, and then the quality within each little segment, how they stack it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And you do that kind of work. I mean, you know what I mean? I
Thanks.
know. Yeah. So but I wouldn't stop. And this might be real hard, but just get stuff in the can and don't worry about hacking it or outsource it a little bit. See if anyone would be willing to edit it. But anyhow,
Yeah. No, we'll play with it some more. I just need a break, I think.
all right.
I
well, that's
did
good.
get a bunch of recordings in the can. The ones
Did
I'm
you?
working through now have been in there now for 3 months, 2 months.
Okay.
This was the recording I did with Jeff was in middle of October, and then a week later I did the interview with Nick, and those just have been sitting there haunting me, having to get those out. And so hopefully Nick's recording, I think, came out pretty clean. So it should be pretty easy to just basically just write an intro and trim a little here and there and put it out. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see what the new year holds for us.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I appreciate that, though. I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, no, you're good at it. Like you're good interviewer. So there's a talent there. Like I'm different. I don't do what you do. I mean, I am, but that's okay. You know?
Yeah, everybody's yeah. Authenticity. I think you bring a level of authenticity that people appreciate. So people love you.
Well,
They
tell you what.
they barely tolerate me.
Oh, you goofball.
Oh, that's funny.
No, I told Mark the same thing. Oh yeah, he's so that's it. Mark is Benjamin Boyce level good. Yes, that's it. You have insight, you can control yourself, and then you come up with these like curveball questions that come out of nowhere. I'm like, oh dude, that was good. Because
when it's good, it's good. When it's sometimes I find myself absolutely insufferable to listen to. So
that's actually probably you know what? That's a good sign. No, when you can no. I think that's very healthy. Anybody who likes listening to themselves, I'm like,
that's
oh,
true,
dude,
probably
you
true.
know, like, nah, bro.
The trick, maintaining focus on the guest and listening to them, and then just trying to respond in a conversational way, intelligibly. That's my goal. So I don't come in with an agenda. I certainly don't try. I'd want to try to understand everybody as or at least if I don't, maybe I'll never get to understanding them, at least get them out there and present them in a way that's complimentary.
How'd you learn this? Or was it something you just born with?
I didn't really learn it, although I did a lot of journalism at some points, and was good at it. And so that's some of the interviewing part, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do like people. I find as much as frustrating as I find people to be, I do enjoy them. So me and humanity, a love-hate relationship.
I hate people, but I can't love them too.
Can't live with them, can't live without them.
Can't shoot them. No shooting people, okay? Shooting bad. Disagreeing, yeah, why not? Kvetch all you want.
That's buttery. That's
I don't know.
Like the best Irish pasture-raised butter. There we go. That's funny. I appreciate that, guys. Appreciate that. But being there are times when I can't get a word out. It just hurts. I would love to be one of those people who can just eloquently Luke can get a little word salady, but he can riff. Man, he can riff with exquisite smoothness. Luke Thompson.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's just, and he can be all over the map. And I don't think there's a single anywhere to be found in his,
Right.
any 5-minute segment. Tayo's in a mood tonight. A
What's
little.
he? Oh, for
I think he
what?
was talking about the the word salad part.
Oh,
I think he's
uh-huh.
being silly, and I was being. But
Kyle's another. No, he's another one. He can bring it.
Tayo can indeed bring it.
Yeah.
Tayo's
Mhm.
very articulate, and then he
Mhm.
says, you know, when he knows I'm done doing interviews, he says, I want to be interviewed, and then
That's
as
it.
soon as I say I'm reopen the door for him, he says, oh, I don't want to be interviewed.
No,
Tayo's
he got to hold his feet to the fire.
Tayo's an interesting guy. He just likes to. He likes to
Lies.
cause problems.
Yeah, but he's good at it. He's a little bit like Grimm, maybe a lot.
Yeah,
like,
he is. He's a bit of a
Mhm.
troll. He's a natural troll.
But it's a good one. It's not. No one's gonna leave crying. They might be like, "You hit me with a water balloon." It's kind of funny.
If you're serious, you know where to find me. You wished me Merry Christmas. Let's set her up.
That'd be
Let's
fun.
set it up, Tayo. I'll do it. I'll dust off. I'll keep this old trainer running just for you, my friend. Because I
Sweet.
definitely would like to talk to Tayo for a couple hours. There's other people I'd like to talk to too. I wanted to talk to Deal, and I would like to talk to Sam about something other than the Trinity. That
Yeah,
would be
what-
great.
Hey, all right, let's go. Let's blow this place up for a minute.
Sure.
Okay, my personal opinion, my position on the Trinity, I don't care. It's like, and I'll give you a better depth to it. When I met God, and I met God with the big G, not good buddy Jesus. Yep, there it is.
Is this the man in black speaking?
Yes, it is. It is. It is now. Should I put this up? Wait, this is so I don't. feel
Oh
like-
no, don't do that. Don't do that. Whole different connotations. We aren't
Oh,
that
really?
channel. We aren't that
No.
channel.
Yeah. Here, let the light shine off my head.
That's it. That's it.
Well,
This
and
is, in fact, my state has passed a no mask policy. So go
oh,
ahead.
right. Are you serious?
Law
Really?
enforcement
Oh, no
after the
kidding.
beginning of the year can't wear masks.
Okay. Well, it's sad. I mean, and I realize some people wear masks because there is a medical need and reason.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
I
not-
understand that.
But I got kids on campus, dude. There's something wrong with them. I'm like, buddy, you need a hug. Something's wrong. Like, let it go. So So anyhow, me and the Trinity.
You and the Trinity. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I know there is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I also know they are one. And it reminds me more of experiencing time. You have time is past, present, and future. Always has been, always will be, at least for us. But yet it's one.
Mhm.
That's the best I can do. And that I don't know. I think, and this is where I'm really, all right, I'll just put it out there. I think there's a difference between experiencing God and arguing about him.
Say it one more time.
I think there's a difference between knowing God and
Mhm.
arguing about him.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
I think the ones that argue about him, I'm like, maybe you should just go meet him. And then,
Did you freeze on me, Ron? Ron froze. Ron, you broke your internet. You get
there, I broke my internet. It was the Trinity.
it? The woo brought
Yeah.
down the house of woo.
This is just my opinion. I don't know. I like Sam, and I think he's amazingly brilliant and
Mhm.
kind, and a lot of other people here. And I know I've met people, and they take it as is it heresy if you don't believe in the Trinity, or it's a pretty strong word. It's like
No, it's a big deal to a lot of people. it's surprisingly well, it's a big deal to some people here in the corner.
Yeah, no, I know. And I
But
want,
it's just
I don't
depends
want
on
to
the tradition. In my tradition, the word Trinity in the Church of Christ, well, it depends on which tradition I was a part of, right? I mean, I was also raised Southern. I went to Baptist schools. I went to a Southern Baptist church until I was like 17, and they kicked me out. So, and I was baptized at age 9 into the Church of Christ. So, the Church of Christ, the Trinity is not a it's close to a bad word. It's not in the Bible, so they don't acknowledge it.
right, yeah.
On the other hand, doctrinally, most churches of Christ are Trinitarian in sentiment, if not in creed, because they have no creeds. They threw all the creeds out in 1802 or whatever, or 804, I guess it was. And whereas the Southern Baptists are very, very Trinitarian, very small o orthodox in that way. They don't do. They might occasionally recite the Apostles' Creed or something. So they're not super creedal. They more have a set of beliefs, and you look at the website or the brochure or whatever, and you see their set of fundamental beliefs, and they correspond to pretty much everything.
Hmm.
Mark S is saying, where's my cursor? There we go. Mark S is saying that the COC is way trad Trinitarian now. That's interesting because their history is not. Would be a good one to talk about sometime, would be what that evolution is and what he's witnessed at his, because the Church of Christ is actually healthier where Mark S is than where it is where I'm at. It's almost dead here. It's hard to find an authentic Church of Christ in my area.
See, my problem with all of this, and I'm not saying it's, I'll just say it bluntly. The problem I have with all of this is I've got 2 teenagers that I'm now dealing with that are one's on the edge of demonic possession, and and I'm not going to use name or gender because but I can speak in generalities.
Right. Yeah, keep it general.
One is on the edge, is actually they are oppressed to the point of their next step is possession, and they're fighting.
What's happened to them that's got them to this place?
Do
you know their history?
Yeah, I do. They had a tragic.
But again, without being specific,
no,
I
got it. No, I can do this. I can navigate this. Both of them have tragedy in their families, and they both have wounds of the heart. Actually, almost unforgiveness towards God. If God is loving and God is good, how did this happen to my parent? If this happened to my parent, God is not good. And that's what opens the door. It's just a heart. And I'm seeing this there's 2 different cases. One is a person going into into darkness, and the other one's coming out, and they just, what the word might be used as deliverance or inner healing. They learned.
What do you think? See, some people would say not having a right understanding of the Trinity would expose somebody to more darkness. Some people would say it doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't see. I've struggled myself just trying to understand how holding an ideological idea in my head, right, some belief, makes any difference if it's not applied or something.
I think, okay, but if you apply it like this, and I can actually, it's funny, I can go with Trinitarian or Jesus only, it doesn't matter. I can still work it. It is.
Well, there are Pentecostal traditions in both.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So it's basically starting with, does God love you? Does God love me? Yes or no?
Hmm.
If you start with yes,
Yeah.
in any one of those, you're going to be, you're going to be okay, or at least you're on the right trail. When God in either of those cases doesn't love you, you have a problem in each camp. So
Yeah. I don't
uh,
think theology saves anybody.
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
It
I think that's
that's
right.
okay, and I think, okay, all right, and how's this? Bad theology doesn't condemn you either. Oh,
It's true.
okay.
That's a hot
Well,
take. That's a hotter take than the other one. Yeah, I
yeah.
can say that and probably get out of the sanctuary with my skin intact.
Okay.
You, on the other hand, might end up with the 39 lashes.
You know what though?
whipped
Because
whipped in
yeah,
their synagogues, as
yeah.
Jesus said.
No, well, because this has been on my mind. Like, okay, good theology doesn't save you, but just, it's interesting. Most of the people I deal with, they're ex-New Agers, and they're
Mhm.
coming out of ayahuasca or some major encounter with the demonic, and then hi Marquez, and they meet Jesus. They meet and he bounces them out of some horrific darkness, and they know him face to face, and they're like, okay, who was that? And then they build, then like, oh, here's a Bible, this is the book of John, and they're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, that's the guy, white guy in white, sash around him, yep, eyes like fire, yep, that's him. And
Here's the question I'd have for Anselman:
yeah.
is do people have to know Jesus as you know him?
What do you mean?
Anselman
And I
says
probably would
Jesus is
say,
God.
yeah,
That is the reality of the Christian experience of eternal life, not an ideology.
okay,
And he follows up with, to not know Jesus as God and Savior is to not have eternal life. And what I'm saying is do people have to know him as you know him? And how is that even humanly possible, considering how vastly different each of our lives, experiences, brains are from each other? And I would also point out that if it were as simple as you say it is, you would hold up better. Sam Tiedemann has the carcasses of hardline Trinitarians littered across his YouTube channel. He wears his he's like he wears the ears of his enemy around his neck or something. He's got a collection of trophies that he's collected. That, I mean, I don't agree necessarily with Sam. I have a different view, but I think if it's as clear cut as you say, Sam would not be able to make so effective an argument as he does for his point of view. So I think I'm not gonna say you're wrong, Anselman. I'm just saying there's room for doubt. There's room for alternatives. Maybe even doubt. Let's throw out that word. There's room for
unknowing
nuances and other views. Marquez, Sola.
I don't even know why I came on here because I'm scared.
You came here to represent the CRC, the Trinitarian wing of the not the CRC, the COC. Excuse me.
What incarnation is the CRC?
They're Calvinists. They're Calvinists.
Oh, those Calvinists, they tried to burn us at the stake.
They would if they could.
Oh, yeah, I just thought I'd hop in.
I think Sam is so good. I don't have to agree with it. Somebody like Sam is so good. I said it before. He could be an elder in my church any day of the week
he's brilliant
because he knows so much.
Mhm.
And he's a sweet guy. He's a good guy. His politics are a little screwy. You know, he's kind of conservative by my standard. But other than that, he's a good man. And I'd say I would heartily recommend him to be anybody's elder. At least give him a room to teach in. He's great.
I wanted to, because you're talking about Church of Christ Trinitarian views, and there's a book that came out this last year. It's one of my favorite books of 2025. Not that I read many books from 2025, but it's a pretty short. It's like under 100 pages, and it's called. I have it right here. It's called "We Have Seen His Glory: Exploring the Doctrine of Christ's Incarnation" by Donnie DeBoard, and he's a professor at Freed-Hardeman University, which is like a conservative Church of Christ university. But it's very good, and it's like really simple but theological. And
How do you spell that name? Any idea? Donnie?
yeah,
That's easy to spell.
and it's like one of these little Church of Christ books that looks like it was published by a conspiracy theorist or something, but it's actually really good, you know.
Well, let's try the title. I'm not trying. Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, I got it from Amazon.
What's the title again?
We Have Seen His Glory.
Okay. We have
I
seen.
actually took like passages from this book and I made a hymn out of some of them because it's pretty
Cool.
it's pretty well written in my opinion.
There's some Church of Christ guys out there, theologians and whatnot, that I like quite a bit these days. I'm not so crazy about the ones in the middle of the 20th century. It was kind of the lowest ebb of COC and stuff. But I like. Why is it not showing up?
Might not be on there anymore.
Unknown author. That's not it. Here it is. Yes, Donnie. Okay, Donnie DeBoard. DE. Capital BORD. Donnie DONNIE. DeBoard. We have seen his glory, exploring the doctrine of Christ's incarnation, and it's only $5. It's a bargain.
Yeah. I always like finding little random books that only like 100 people have bought, and they're really, really good.
You're such a contrarian. 102 pages.
Well, I'm Church of Christ.
That. Oh, Church of Christ.
I just wanted to come on and plug that book.
No, that's great. I would like to. I still may finish the work I began 6 months ago on the history of the Church of Christ, and at least I want to do something around Barton Stone and Cane Ridge, and
Did you say Cane Ridge?
Cane Ridge, yeah, the Cane Ridge
Oh, okay.
revival.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
The history of the Church of Christ starts to get kind of boring mid-century, but those first couple of decades are pretty rich.
They were at Cane Ridge. That's
That's
that
where the
was
Church of
world
Christ
cha-
had its start. Yeah,
I
it
did.
was-
Okay. That's something.
It was Pentecostal before there was a word for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, they were doing it was all out there. That was a wild scene. The question I have is, and I've not been able to figure it out, is what were there any European precursors to what happened at Cane Ridge? Or we know that there were some.
You don't want me to go off on this, Mark.
Well, I know there
yes,
was
we
something.
do.
Yeah, go ahead, because I know there was something in Scandinavia. There was
The Moravians.
but were they that far out? Go ahead.
Well, I would say that at Cane Ridge, was a lot of charisma.
Mhm.
Barton Stone probably wasn't, even though he wasn't a cessationist, as far as I understand, he was much more of a rationalist than a
Yeah.
lot of the, there were.
We lost you, Mark. Can you hear me, Ron?
Yes, I can hear you.
Mark,
Hello?
there we go.
Yeah.
Now we can hear you.
Oh, what happened?
You just cut out on us.
But there was definitely a lot of like woo going on at Cane Ridge.
It disturbed him, according to his biography. I mean, it shook him to his core. He talks about where he runs off into the woods to kind of get away from it and try to grasp what he was witnessing at the meeting. And he was in charge of it. He was the organizer.
I actually haven't studied Cane Ridge that much, but I'm kind of compiling this whole sort of structure of Churches of Christ history, and
Are you there?
I think we lost him again. Mark.
Okay,
you
he's
keep
just
dropping in.
yeah,
You keep
you're
dropping in
back.
and out on us.
You're back. You're good.
Check your wires, Mark. Make sure you're all plugged in.
I think it's just a temporary glitch.
Something glitching in the matrix.
Just a touch. He'll be back. He's not totally dropping out.
Well, that could be a really
So
interesting
who
way.
is-
Maybe that's what we should do. Is we should talk about the Church of Christ history in that way, and just maybe Mark.
I would like that.
That'd make a good.
That would be
discussion.
quite enjoyable because I've known of Cane Ridge. I mean, even the Pentecostal preachers around here, they love Cane Ridge. They
Mhm.
talk about it,
Oh, yeah.
lovingly.
Well, you know the
and-
Montreal, right? The Montreal Vineyard, that whole scene.
Okay.
When you read or hear the descriptions of that, that's what Cane Ridge
Right.
looked like.
Well, and see, like I know the people that are in Montreal. It's not Montreal, it's the one by the airport. It's Heidi Baker and Heidi and Roland Baker that have been doing that revival for a long time. And Cane Ridge I knew of that was powerful. And then there was a fella, Finney, who started Oberlin College. I don't know if he came through.
Finney started Oberlin?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah,
did not
Oberlin
know
College.
that.
Yeah, it was actually
Charles Finney?
let me make sure it's Oberlin College is Finney. Because they have Finney Chapel.
Interesting.
I'm
Okay,
looking-
keep talking. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Actually, because I want to make sure. I think it's Charles Finney. Let me make sure. Yeah, Charles Finney. And he started it in 1835 as a professor of theology. And I'm looking at it now, and I don't know if he had any relationship with Cane Ridge.
No, he was a revivalist.
Yeah.
He
he
didn't
was.
have direct
Mhm.
relationship to it.
Yeah.
But he was another Presbyterian who
okay.
turned Arminian. A lot of them, that's all part of Barton Stone. Even Alexander Campbell, I think, at some point was he was Presbyterian, then was with the Baptists for a while, then ultimately broke free too. They all became Arminian, basically free will. They had a different view of than the Calvin. They were all reacting against the Calvinists in some way, shape, or form. So it's interesting. No, I see his name there, and then revivals. Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea.
No, he was a heavy hitter, and even as a kid, I knew
Oh,
the
we got-
Underground Railroad was in Oberlin. I was
Paul's
just
in
on
the
a
house. He's just filling.
Mhm.
He's filling the whole bunch. Paul knows the history. Oh my gosh, he's typing
Mhm.
away.
Well, I'm glad because from what I understand, he had such a presence of God on him that people would feel it. Like he didn't have to preach much. He was just his presence.
He's got a book. There's a book out that has his lectures on revival, and it's pretty far out stuff. By our standards today, it sounds pretty manipulative, but it certainly influenced a lot of. He turned I think what happened was in the Second Great Awakening, you had kind of organic, spontaneous eruptions of the Spirit happening,
Right.
and he industrialized it. He went and turned it into a revivalism. So he had a method, a kind of approach to, Paul might even call it a liturgy.
Okay. Sure.
And and he's explicit about it. He wants to in especially that first chapter or the 1st lecture in the book. I can't remember the name. It's easy to find. It's like lectures on revival, and it's just all about setting.
See, I'm not opposed to that, and because it's like you don't want to hold a church while the kids are crying and the toilets are flushing and you're changing the car tire. Nothing wrong with any of those at the right time. And maybe I'm not opposed to the kids' new measure during the Second Great Awakening starting 820. Okay. So what I'm dealing with, all right, this actually might be my moment on the couch. I see new believers that are operating in power, and I can't deny that there's some spiritual gift given to them. Like the two kids I was telling you about, one of them got quote unquote freedom at a prayer meeting recently, and they said they started to felt like they wanted to throw up, and they're like, is this normal? And I had to go, yeah. And they were a little confused. I'm like, yeah, it's a power dynamic where you're getting rid of something. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't have to happen. But if it did happen, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just like when you grab a cat off a ball of yarn, it digs in a little bit more before it gets broken free of it. And so the demons are manifesting a touch before they split. And I don't like it because this is the thing, because Paul actually helped me out on this. Real exorcism, real deliverance is restoring someone into a basic, normal, quiet Christian walk. That's the end game of inner healing or exorcism. In the process of it, I see people, I guess, and they're pretty young, to be honest with you. They're less than 3 years old in walking with God. They're engaging with profound encounters with people. It just, I want to have more, I guess the Catholics call it catechesis, where you teach them afterwards, and formation or whatever words there are. And so I'm kind of I'm between two opinions, and I think that's what I'm trying to vent right now and see how to walk this out, because the people I know they're hanging out with, or I think they're hanging out with, powerful in one ways and dumber than a box of rocks in other ways. And what I mean is, you can have the presence of God and the power of God, but then once you free them, do you know how to steward them and develop them as a disciple them?
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I'm becoming very big on discipleship, friendship.
Well, how do you emphasize? Where's your emphasis when you're with discipleship? I mean, do you just try to get them in the book and let them sort it out for themselves, or you try to give them actual specific
Oh, both.
forms of
Both.
guidance?
It's really just becoming a friend, and it's like raising a kid. Not that I have CA. What is that? CA. Oh, okay.
Can.
Okay. I didn't know if that was an acronym.
Yeah. It's just a typo.
What does that mean? Can they grow? I like it. I mean, I maybe I
Teach a
just
man to fish. It's as
Yeah.
opposed to give him a fish. Teach a man to fish.
Yeah.
That's how I take it.
Okay. I like that. Actually, that's exactly it. What I'll do is I'll get them into the Word, get them into church, prayer life, and then have them do it for themselves.
Hmm.
Okay.
One of my favorite Ron Copperman quotes I ever heard was, "I can heal them, but I can't get them to clean their room."
See, now Paul's nailing it. It's okay. Disciplines, community, holy habits. Yeah, that's it. I mean,
See, I want to know why so many Presbyterians went rogue in the 19th century. I want Paul to come in and help me understand that, because basically the Church of Christ is a bunch of rogue Presbyterians. It's unbelievable how many of them. And then Finney wasn't even at Cane Ridge, but he too was a Presbyterian. Something went awry in the Presbyterian church in America, where they had a lot of ministers go. They went off the reservation, the Calvinist reservation, and well,
What do
it
you
could have
mean?
been the influence of Methodism was that could have impacted them too. I don't know.
What do you mean
I'm
by
sorry, I
rogue?
didn't mean to break. Rogue.
No, you're fine. You're
They
fine.
went.
Well,
They broke. I mean, many. I mean, it was short. It wasn't violent like it would have been
Right.
300 years before,
right.
but it was intense. I mean, it was church splitting in a sense, but you know, as we would put it, but they made they had, it was like a 1,000 Luthers sprung in the colonial or late, early America. Posting their 95 theses again and again and again, all of them declaring their independence from the Presbyterian. First it was they formed their own synods, right? Or they break from the old synod, then they start their own. There was the Springfield Presbytery. It lasted less than a year. It was formed by Barton Stone and other Presbyterian ministers. They then, before a year was out, they then wrote and signed a kind of a letter, calling it the last will and testament of the Springfield Presbytery, in which they then went still further in their rebellion, and they not only declared that they were done with Calvinism, they were done with the creeds, they were done with everything except the Bible. Now, they never stopped to ask where the Bible came from, but Paul's here to help explain the history.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, this, like, the things you're saying, like they take the time to understand where it came from. Like, I've heard many people who are like restoration raised, who have deconstructed, and I have been like really thinking about the common objections and kind of like formulating a defense of a reconstruction of the deconstruction of the restoration, because like those types of statements, like they didn't even know where it came from. Like Alexander Campbell could read Greek, but like he could.
No, I didn't mean it in the literal sense that they didn't know. It's just that they didn't. It's like they pretended like there wasn't a history going back to
Well,
before the Great Schism. I mean, we only have this book because, in fact, it wasn't. The Bible itself is a product, as we understand, is a product of the printing press. As
I mean,
Father,
I-
go ahead.
he was very aware of like the church fathers and all of that history. I mean, they had a lot of wrong ideas, but like this idea that they were just country bumpkins out there making it up as they went along, I think is
Unfair.
It's
Unfair.
very unfair. I mean, they did make up a lot of stuff I don't agree with, but I think the basic tenets of restorationism, I think, hold up. And yeah, it's
Well, my
like
sympathies are still there, but I'm just saying, let me pitch it to you guys, Paul. To me, it's the spirit of the American Revolution. I think that's probably more than anything else is what drove it.
Well, frontier spirit. They're getting over the Appalachians. That time was superheated in terms of in almost any period when you have a big victory of something, you'll almost always get a big reaction to that victory. And so I think it's not incidental that, as you noted, they didn't just reject Calvinist theology, or they also rejected confessionalism.
Mhm.
And you could see a lot of this even in the counterculture from the 60s and 70s pushing back on the 40s and 50s and early 60s in American evangelical Protestantism. The counterculture was very biblicistic. It was very it was not confessional. It was very charismatic. And so I think just looking a little bit at the Jesus movement, you can sort of understand the reaction to this. I mean, you had all of these. So you mentioned the founding of Oberlin College. One of the first things that tended to happen with all of these little movements is they would found their little college and they would have their little fights over, all of these little intricate pieces of doctrine. And especially when you get this big outpouring, like in a revival, they want to build new relationships. They want to demote. I mean, you could even look at, in some ways, some of what's happened in the TLC as in line with that. We are not pushing orthodoxy as such, or Calvinism as such, or Catholicism as such. We're sort of trying to find new relationships and new networks. And when you have, that part of American history, you have this massive westward movement into the, what had been the Louisiana Purchase, all that new territory. And so as Mark Knoll makes the point that the speed outstrips the speed of institutions to actually go. And so if you're going to have a rapid Christianization of the frontier, you don't want everybody, fighting over confessional difficulties. You want people with one thing in mind. And again, as Mark Knoll says, the Bible is, once you get away from those East Coast institutions, it's all about the Bible, because that's the one thing that everybody has. It's the one thing you can have a common conversation on.
And
So
isn't it? It's probably probably among the very earliest generations of where you had widespread literacy
yeah,
in the society, and so they had the Bible, but they could actually, common people could actually read it for themselves for the first time in 17 or 1800 years or something
Well,
like
and
that.
it was one of the few books they'd actually have on the frontier. I
Well,
mean,
that's
if
how they
you're
learned to
moving,
read. Yeah. Yeah.
if you're moving things over, only a very few people are going to be bringing a lot of books. And so most of what's going to piece together is what people carry in their heads and then in that Bible. And you learn to read on the Bible and you learn everything on the Bible. You're out there on the frontier. So there's a lot of elements to this.
Yeah, that was a huge part of the whole restoration movement, was against creeds and confessions, because I think that goes back to Mark's question, what happened to Presbyterianism? I think there were so many different denominations of Presbyterianism and different schools that they just wanted to reject all of it and go back to the Bible, and not have the creeds and confessions. That was a huge part of it, for sure. I mean, that was one of the main things, I think, that spun the whole deal, because everybody had their own confessions.
Well, even before going all the way back to the First Great Awakening, Jonathan Edwards, you have the split between the Old Light and New Light Presbyterians, and maybe PVK can shed some light on this too. Arminianism has been at the heels of Presbyterianism in America almost from day one. I know the New Lights weren't full on Arminian, were they? They didn't become full on Arminian really until Barton Stone's generation, I don't think, but maybe you know more about that than I do. But Jonathan Edwards was very controversial amongst his own colleagues at the time. They thought his revivals were too emotional. They had no idea what they were in for by the time Cane Ridge comes around 100 years later.
You know,
Not even that long.
It's important to remember that with the First Great Awakening, that too is a frontier movement.
Yeah.
Jonathan Edwards is in some ways a frontier preacher. Now, we don't think about those areas as frontier, but frontier basically meant that you're having a mixing of European populations and Native American populations, and a big part of that was the mission work of trying to convert the Native Americans not only into European religion but European ways of living. I mean, if you read, those early mixings of people were really complex, because in some ways, if you read a book like Charles Mann's 1492 and then 1493, the European settlements basically terraformed North America. Once you bring in pigs, once you bring in chickens, once you bring in goats, once you bring in cows,
Sure.
I mean, corn is one of the big survivors here, but you're bringing in wheat. You're bringing in all of these species into North America, and you're not just, let's say, conquering Indians by killing them. The diseases have killed far more than you're ever going to kill. And then very quickly, the Indians realize that, holy cow, these people have, they don't say it, but they have metalworking. They have axes and pots and glass and horses, and oxen. And I mean, you've got this huge change of civilization. And so I just,
well, you made a really good point that I'd forgotten to think about with regards to Jonathan Edwards' Massachusetts colony that he was preaching in. That the violence of the frontier was as close to his Massachusetts experience as Eastern Kentucky was for the folks at Cane Ridge, and they had just come off of a war. These people were veterans, or they'd experienced the violence of the American Revolution, But there was, right on the heels of the American Revolution, there was the name of it, I think, is the Great Northwest Indian War. It's got a couple other names, but it was a confederation of Indian nations that actually pulled together and almost stopped the United States from making its westward migration. That was a 10-year war. And Kentucky was still hunting grounds for a lot of Native Americans. So the knife was still kind of at the throat. I mean, they were 10 years of peace isn't that long. I mean, if that,
And the American Revolution
was real traumatic.
Is fought over the question. The British wanted to keep the colonists on one side of the mountains because they knew that these people coming over and basically settling land, this is going to cause bloodshed with these Indian nations. And just a little bit of the New Lights and Old Lights, just looking it up. The New Lights embrace the revival's emotional preaching and emphasis on personal conversion, led by Jonathan Edwards, George Whitefield. They prioritize individual spiritual experiences over traditional authority, often rejecting strict Calvinist predestination, let's say. Not all, but again, you see Finney within that tradition.
He's just taking it to its logical extreme.
That's right. He's continuing to develop. The Old Lights oppose the revivals as chaotic and excessive, favoring established church order, rational theology, society stabilized through state-supported religion, elite clergy. And when you read Jonathan Edwards, a lot of what he's writing is basically a justification for these affections and these expressions that are sort of breaking out. And again, but now it's interesting because when you get to Finney, you can see the development of sort of what Ian McGilchrist would call the emissary mind by saying, we can affect more conversions if we use these techniques in worship. So when I went to, when I went to Gavin's church down in Alabama, and they have this mega church, well, it's, evangelicals have long looked at psychology and said, this is how we can move people closer to making a decision for Christ. And that's not a bad thing because, as we were talking with Ron, now when they make a decision for Christ, well, maybe you can look at Latin America. For a long time, they talked about the evangelical bump. So you're just sort of a nominal lapsed Catholic, not very involved. You have an emotional conversion. A lot of Pentecostals in Latin America. You have an emotional conversion of the man. Now suddenly, what is the church going to teach him? Don't commit adultery. The money that don't drink, don't gamble. The money that you earn in your job goes to your children. And they then start going to Christian school. And you basically get this societal improvement because people aren't, in the words of, let's say, the Orthodox, people aren't, say, susceptible to their desires. And now they're reining in their desires and they're stabilizing the families. And now you have wealth generation and you have higher rates of literacy. And you're basically, the point of the spear is this emotional conversion, which is now going to lead to a lot of self-discipline and orderliness that the children are going to benefit for. And I mean, we've seen this pattern. The Wesleys saw this pattern. We've seen this pattern again and again, that you might come to Jesus in an ecstatic moment, but if the community says, okay, now that you've come to Jesus, it's time to clean up your life. You're going to get away from these things. You're going to live this controlled Christian life. Your children are going to benefit. But then sometimes it gets a little tight for the kids, and the kids want their own experience, and round you go in the generations.
Ron asked the question, is New Light equal charismatic? And it's like, I would say New Light equaled proto-evangelical as the modern sense.
Yeah.
But
if you read Jonathan Edwards and what's going on there, I'd say, and in the language we
It
tend
sounds
to
a-
use on the mission field, we call it manifestations.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is, ecstatic. It's not, the Puritans, I mean, they themselves, but here's part of the thing that people don't realize. Just because people are standing, orderly, singing, just because you sort of have lockdown worship, that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of emotions going on between those ears. It's just sort of reined in. And you see many like frozen chosen traditions, deeply Calvinist traditions that are highly emotional, but it's just they don't express their emotions. But now you've got a different context where, especially a different culture, where expressing emotion is acceptable rather than looked down upon. In some cultures, you gain status by controlling your emotions. In other cultures, you gain status and attention by expressing your emotions. And so, all of them are having feels and experiences.
And the need, the controversial part probably for the traditionalists or the old lights, what we find ultimately in beginning in the early 19th century is the need to be rebaptized as adults. So Mark S. would know this too. I believe Alexander Campbell at some point, he's hanging out with, he's rejected his Presbyterian roots, is now kind of hanging out with the Baptists. And I think at that point he decides in the 1830s to get immersed. And this was a man who was christened as a child. His father was a minister, and that was no longer good enough. That's always the relationship breaker between when Catholics, evangelicals, or they convert out of Catholicism into, in my day, when I was young, you saw a lot of this, as you did too. A lot of Catholics converting to the Jesus movement or something like it. And they're going to evangelical churches and getting rebaptized, which is, when you think, it's really a pretty violent act. If say your family is Catholic, it's rebellious and violent, even though it's thought of as being obedient and.
Well, it's a ceremonial rejection of your family's religion. That's how it can be felt. Again, those are the feelings. Right. Now, that's softened quite a bit lately. But then what tends to happen is, like I had an emotional reaction when I was at the mega church, and their baptism ceremony looked like something that might be happening in a theme park. Mm-hmm. And for me, baptism is a really special, but culturally, I am seeing reverence as silence and control, while others are expressing it as, through expression. And so you've got those different cultural factors, but then you have situations where, well, now suddenly every single church someone goes to, they're getting rebaptized. And then they have a backsliding moment. Maybe they cheated on their wife, or maybe they went back to drinking. Well, now I need to get baptized again because I really need to stay on the wagon this time. And then you got people getting baptized all the time. And then someone says, well, now baptism is cheapened. And so you tend to see a lot of these things.
Well, the coffee shop baptism you described just made me think of these kids in swim trunks and bikinis getting baptized in the 1970s in Pirates Cove or whatever.
Right. And having communion on the beach with Coke and, Coke and pizza. And when I was in college, kids in the Christian Reformed Church were, they're out of school now. They're going to different churches. The church I went to in Grand Rapids was sort of, charismatic Christian Reformed. There was speaking in tongues. We had healing services. And the Christian, again, because of the Dutch Calvinism, this was sort of tolerated in the Christian Reformed Church, whereas certain Presbyterian churches, they would be clamped down on. So, there's just so much nuance. But then college kids were like, well, why is it wine and bread? Why can't it be Coke and pizza on the beach with your friends? That feels so much more spiritual.
Because it stopped being a sacrament.
And it's an ordinance. People at church, because that's new light. Because I feel my heart strangely warmed versus the cold, locked down formalism of the church I grew up in. I mean, it's this thing that you see just twirling around again and again.
Yeah, little do they know that in a couple of years they're not going to feel that charisma anymore anyway. At their,
Well, and then their children
walked in church.
look at orthodoxy. Oh, look at the icons. Look at the, and we're going to stand up in church. We're not any of these weaklings that are sitting through the service. We're in there for hours during, our feast seasons and then rebaptizing sometimes.
It was a discussion you had with, what was that? You did you were with Alec Ryrie.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the channel. But it was not too long ago. What, a couple months ago you did that? And you mentioned seeing young men face down, prone, bowing to relics.
Kissing a box of relics. In Riverside, California.
Oh, that was here in the Riverside one? Okay. Yeah, that is a pretty fancy schmancy Orthodox church they have there.
So who has the feels? I'd say everybody has feels, but the feels can look differently on the outside than they feel on the inside. And again, we're sort of this, for the Jesus movement, it was liberation. Now, for the Orthodox movement, it's rigor. We're serious.
But it's rigor. It's the thing that makes me crazy. I'll let you guys come in and finish this up and talk. I'm sorry to talk just to dominate. But what I fear, I think I expressed this when we talked last on your live stream, is that it seems to me like it's just American evangelicals doing what American evangelicals do. They're bringing in their own fervor. If you want to be truly Orthodox, it seems to me, look at the people who've been it their whole lives for generations and imitate them. But that's not rigorous enough. We want to be like the deacons and we want to be supermen. We want to be like the monks. Except we want to have sex, and we want to we want to have our comforts. We don't want to be in little closets, but we want it. So I'm kind of like going, it'll. So what's, I mean, it's I think you see where I'm going with that, though. It's just it makes me feel like we're just doing our American thing all over again, only with this religion that's somewhat of a late import to the United States anyways. It arrived early 19th century, early 20th century, the United States. Orthodoxy, unless you include Russian Orthodoxy coming in from Alaska into California, maybe.
This guy, I don't know what his name, it's a Greek word, Nonos or something, says I'll settle for biblical literate.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of how I feel to a certain degree. Like, I don't know, like once you read the Bible enough, it's just it's like, why not just go back to the Bible?
Well, this gets into, Sam Harris and Doug Wilson, because Sam Harris is reacting to all of the Christians, and the 19th century, early 19th century was filled with this. If you look at Latter-day Saints, if you look at Jehovah's Witnesses, if you look at Seventh-day Adventist, and then a whole bunch of others that stuck in with the Trinity, they're all saying we should read the Bible for ourselves. But we never read the Bible absolutely for ourselves. We use language and we have filters. And, here's a lovely example. King James Version, in my Father's house there are many mansions. And when people hear that today, when they think mansion, they think the Monopoly Man. But in King James English, a manse was basically a resting place, a room. And so you've got transmission of language that's happening. And so so then those sort of against sola scriptura will say you need a church to interpret this for you. And actually what usually happens all over the place is that people are reading it for themselves, but they're reading it within a tradition. And part of what happens as you get into the colonial period, and now especially after Columbus, you've got globalization. Well, we're hearing each other read it, and so it's a very.
But can you be truly Orthodox and read the Bible for yourself? That doesn't make sense. I'm serious. Same with the Catholics. I mean, they had a Counter-Reformation, and they kind of moved along in kind of in tension with the Reformation. Tension is, let's put it kindly, but reading the Bible for yourself is a purely Protestant move, and really it only has been happening for 300 years.
I'm not sure that sola scriptura.
Say again?
You've got the Ethiopian eunuch doing it 1,500 years before Martin Luther.
He was reading Isaiah, a scroll of Isaiah, but it would have been a manuscript. It wouldn't have been obviously printed. He must have been some character, the fact that he was able to read it. So that put him in the top 2 or 3% of his society.
He was elite. He was in a chariot. But then he says, and then of course Philip is brought there to meet him and trots alongside and
he explains it to him.
And he explains it to him. And yeah,
most Christians for the first 1,500 years heard the Bible in church.
The eunuch even admitted he didn't understand it. He said,
"That's true.
Is this about this guy or is it about someone else?" And so,
but he understood something.
I'm not sure that I don't see sola scriptura as being a rejection of tradition.
Right.
Because
we're the products of. Yeah, that's where most people are, unless you're an internet Christian and you really want to drive up your YouTube rates by either banging on for it or banging on against it. You're a metagelical TLCer who doesn't have a problem with Catholics and Orthodox.
Because even if you are like a one true church Orthodox or whatever, even within those Catholic traditions, there's an extreme, right and left wing of interpretations of it. They argue like crazy within their traditions. And so, it's not like the whole church.
But these would have been between priests. These were between ordained clergy and theologians. I'm not pew sitters. Church, just the average church attendee or whatever you call them. It's the average Joe or Jane they didn't read it for themselves. What they learned, they heard it. They would have heard it.
And I think that most pew sitters aren't going to debate theology like crazy. But it's like just having an exclusive priest class who interprets it. It's like, for me, I just have reasons to believe that that's not the exclusive interpreters. That it has been disproven that certain people who claim to have the key to Scripture through history don't have it.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to understand, if you want to be truly Orthodox, it seems to me you have to give up all of your modernist and Protestant habits to be truly Orthodox. Unless we're going to change Orthodoxy into something it's never been. That would be, I don't know.
I would say
I don't care. I don't have a dog in this fight. Why do I care? I'm just saying.
Where those habits conflict with orthodoxy, right? You have to let them go. I don't know if you just have to let everything go, because I don't know. I don't want to. I could go in a complete other direction with all this, which you guys know a lot more about a lot of other stuff than I do. But
No, you know a lot, Mark. You know a whole lot. I'm just,
I know
I
a
guess
lot
to
about
me,
a
it's
little.
just, I'm just struck more and more by how much the American Revolution and just our culture of rebellion has shaped pretty much everything we do and are. And we're still going through it. We just can't stop ourselves.
So what's going to happen? I watched a video with, I think, Redeemed Zoomer, and he pretty much, he had a great video. Basically, the Protestant world is just fragmented. And so, like when I have like some of the New Agers that I meet that are coming to Christ, and they go and they learn, and they're like, usually I'll send them to where they're already gravitating or where they were raised, like if they're Catholic when they were younger and they're comfortable with that, send them Catholic. But other times, they're just finding they are immediately thrown into the fray. It seems like, of like, where do you send them? Who's right? How do you parse this thing out? And it doesn't happen so much I can't deal with it, but it's just a very relevant subject that I deal with quite a bit.
Nathan showed up just in time for last thoughts. I've got to run and deal with my mom, but to me, it seems like we are. This is why I keep coming back around to what are the marks of true Christian life. It's got to look like something pretty specific, or you really don't have any way to guide people unless you're just going to, this is how you behave as a good member of this church.
How high the bar? I mean, is it sufficient to make sure that you're faithful to your spouse, that you marry the woman you're living with, that you're good to your children? How good to your children? Are you involved? I mean, the difficulty with evaluation is you always have to deal with the standards of evaluation, and but that's what churches do. I mean, churches, humans in communities are always doing moral evaluation. And those metrics of moral evaluation are in many ways sourced from various sources.
Of themselves or of others?
Well, that's what humans in community do. We're always, I mean, obviously, if you are living below the Mason-Dixon line in the South before the Civil War, you could be a good Christian and own slaves. Today, that's unthinkable. But then if you put it to a question, well, Sam Harris, why didn't Jesus call out slavery? Well, Jesus did call out.
I would say he did when he said we were called to liberate the captives.
There you go.
So I would say he wasn't silent on it, but I'm a dread liberal nationalist.
So it's but churches are always, and even outside of the church, you hear it in our society. Well, he did such and such, but he's still a good person. And that's the way people.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
People work. We do.
Final thoughts, Lorax. Sorry.
Hey, Tony, I'm still trying to understand what the hell Paul was saying. To be honest, like I'm sorry, Paul. I'm trying to get your point, but I'm not getting it.
Which one? That people.
Well, I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you.
People naturally in community develop moral hierarchies and enforce them, and use reputation to communicate them. It's one of the big points of Jonathan Haidt's first book. Haidt's first book, which is a really good book. It's my favorite of his books, The Happiness Hypothesis. It's really a good book. It's more technical than his more popular books.
Who's that? Who's that again?
Jonathan Haidt.
John. Okay.
I guess because I didn't hear the conversation before, like how does that fit in? Just if you could just recap the whole stream for me, please.
Another time, my friend. Another time.
I think we were kind of
my
having...
final thought then, which was going to be a riff on that, but mostly, I guess, probably because I have no context, was to say, Christianity is a lot like bread. Like, people have ate bread throughout a lot of cultures, and everywhere you look, there's people eating bread, and people like to eat bread. And I don't know.
Ducks like bread.
Ducks too.
Okay. Real quick, 30 seconds each. Ron.
Ducks eat bread. That's good enough for me. But I do like when you commented that by living, I impart wisdom by just letting them see what I'm doing, be in relationship and community. Revelation is caught, not taught, like bullet points. And I'm cool with that, because that's what I've been doing. And it's nice. It makes it simple and easy. Like, get to know people, let them get to know you. And then if they have questions, give answers. And, till then, go have fun. That's kind of where I'm at. How's that sound?
Cool. Mark S.
Yeah, no, it's a good conversation talking to you guys. I've just been like real cautious of like what I say about faith and stuff, because I'm just like, I don't know. I just, my mouth just says stuff I didn't mean to, and so I'm just trying to be careful. But it almost seems like we were having a very soft debate between the traditional Protestant versus the radical reformers. Maybe a little bit, but anyway, God bless you all.
Thanks.
See you, Mark.
PVK.
I'll have to catch up on the early part of the stream. I thought I didn't know if this was gonna. Rod Hare said, maybe, are you guys gonna pontificate on where the TLC is going in 2026? And I thought, oh, that'd be an interesting topic. But you came in and you're talking about Stone Campbell, and that was fun too.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what we were gonna do. These things turn out the way they turn out. So yeah, 2026 will be an interesting year.
I just found out a fact, because there's this brain worm that is not an American. Well, it's probably from America, but whenever some people hear something they don't like, they say like radical left. And I just searched what William Wilberforce's political views were, and he was a lifelong Tory, like literally an out and out Tory. Like the people who are doing cool stuff with Christianity in the UK are all part of the Green Party. People like Rupert Reed, like characterizing their views as conservative. My point is, I don't know. I get triggered when people just like reduce everything to these weird thought stoppers, and I don't like that.
Is that how I said radical reformer? Is that why you said that?
I think you said like radical leftist. So after that,
no, I said radical reformer.
reformers
It had nothing to do with that. It was radical reformation, meaning the restoration.
It's all right, because of you. Every single person who disagrees with me, I'm just going to call a Nazi forever now. So
no, I mean, I wasn't talking about that.
Yeah.
Catholics, Nazis, Orthodox Nazis, Protestants, Nazis, all of them, everyone.
All right, guys. Thank you. It was fun. Mark S., we should talk more about Church of Christ history. That'd be fun. And then,
I mean, don't get me started.
Don't get you started, but I should. So, and Paul, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been a hoot. All right.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. Let me get out of this. Bye, everybody.
In the words of Chad, bye, everybody.